Deep in the passion of love, taste your kiss, feel your touch, emotions burn high. I hear your voice, even when you're not here, telling me again we're made for each other. Thoughts roll free of moments we've shared. Don't want to erase those beautiful.
Welcome back to our show. My name is Todd Ewing, and the name of our show is See the Heaven in Every Black Face. That's See the Heaven in Every Black Face. Transform ourselves, transform our communities, claim our nobility. You know, I always like to say, and it's true, that I try to see the heaven in every face because I think that's important. But this show is about what we're doing to transform the black community. Thus, the show's name taken from my book, Seeing Heaven in the Face of Black Men. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, it's heaveninthefaceofblackmen.com. So this show is really about rewriting the negative narrative that too often exists in our community, that sometimes we've embraced about ourselves, and rewriting that story from one of nobility, one of health, one of transformation. So the idea for this show is, how do we transform ourselves so we can transform our communities, so we can come from a place of nobility, so we're acting and not reacting in our lives. And I think when we're able to see heaven in each other's face, that will transform the way we treat each other, the way we solve conflicts, and the way we interact. So the show, See the Heaven in Every Black Face. And I like to interview folks who are really engaged themselves in transforming themselves and transforming the community. So I feel blessed to have the guests that I have here today, because all of them, and we're waiting for another person as well, and they'll join us, but all of them are engaged and have been engaged for some time in transforming themselves and transforming the community. So I'll introduce our guests from left to right and come back. I'll say this is Master Diane Jones, and I'll come back to her in just a minute. This is Lawrence Kenneth Duff. I got it written right down here. Kenneth Duff. And we've got Abdul Kareem Ewing Boyd. So, and we will have Lawrence Pickney joining us in a little while. So I want to just say something, you know, about Master Diane Jones, because this show really is about her school. It's the Dakatu Martial Arts Academy, and Master Diane Jones and her students lovingly call her Master Jones, is the founder of that school. She is also a 7th degree black belt, which is quite phenomenal, and we'll talk about that in just a little while. She's also a native of Washington, D.C., which we're proud of that, too. I think she told me she spent some time growing up on 18th Street. Wasn't that right? Somewhere around 18th Street?
That's correct.
Was it 18th and U, or near 18th and U?
1929 18th Street, right around the corner from U Street.
Right around the corner from U Street. She might tell us some things about that when we talk. And also, our other guests are all black belts. These are her black belts. They're professionals in their own right, but also they all have black belts in the martial arts as well. And so really they're some of the highest ranked in her academy. So we'll again wait for our next guest. And while we're waiting for our next guest, we want to ask everybody the same question. I always ask the same question of all the guests, and anybody who wants to answer this can. But the show is See the Heaven in Every Black Face. And it's from my book, as I said, Seeing Heaven in the Face of Black Men. And one of the reasons that I titled the book Seeing Heaven in the Face of Black Men, because I really truly believe that as we start to see heaven in each other's face, as black men, as black women, it's going to transform how we treat each other. So I'd like to ask all the guests, you know, if we were seeing, as black people, if we were seeing the heaven in each other's face, how would that transform how we relate to each other? How would that transform how we solve conflict? How would that really begin to transform our communities if we were really making the effort to see the heaven in every black face? And so anybody can respond to that, and nobody's on the spot to respond, but if somebody wants to respond to that, feel free.
Well, I've said something similar before, and I'll say it again, that if we're seeing heaven in one another's faces, then that's what we would have to be responding to. If we saw not just something that was good, but the essence of goodness when we looked at another person, then that would dictate the way that we responded to that person, even if they weren't having a heavenly moment.
Right.
That I would be able to see that all of my interactions with that person was a way to make goodness a more present reality where we are. And certainly we wouldn't have Milwaukee on fire right now, because instead of shooting a black man in his back, they would have seen heaven in his face.
Right. Thank you.
Just piggybacking from Mr. Ewingboy, seeing good in people, seeing good in black faces. Sometimes we tend to, when we see a black male face, we tend to judge before knowing. Me growing up, I always was taught to see good in people. Just taking that approach and seeing good in people, we can respect others and probably, like Mr. Ewingboy said, be able to dictate how our relationships are with that person a little bit better if we see good in the person instead of saying like a negative view of them.
You know, there's a saying, and I've said it in other shows, look at a person the way they could be, they become what they should be. And I think a lot of times when we're working with young people, sometimes, as Kareem said, you know, sometimes that heaven isn't obvious. It's not right there. Sometimes that facade, that hard look, that exterior comes through. I think that's, I'm not going to speak for Master Jones, but I think that's part of what our school does. It helps, you know, break through that facade, break through that hardness, and allow people to become who they are. I don't know if you want to respond to the question of seeing heaven.
I think it's the way that you relate, especially to the younger generation out here. Due to my experience, I remember an incident. I was teaching, and this brother and sister were walking from school to my school, and they came in and they were screaming and crying, and they ran into a group of boys, and the boys told them that they were going to shoot them and kill them, and I got very upset about that, and I told them to stay there. And I remember I put on my coat and I was going down there. In fact, Mr. Ewingboy was at that class with me, and he said, well, I'll go with you. And I said, no, I don't need you to go down there. And I was so upset, you know. And when I got down there, it was maybe about a group of 15 of them hanging on the corner. You know, and I thought, what am I doing, right? but I got out the car, and I approached them, you know, not angry, but I asked them, I said, these are two little kids coming from school. You know, why would you say those things to them? I said, you're wrong, you know. And they end up apologizing, you know, and I really think it's the way that you approach them. If I had jumped out, you you know, they probably would have sent me back in an ambulance. But I really think it's the way that you talk to kids, even the young kids that I work with, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, you know, pull those pants up. Try to ask them, why are your pants hanging down off of you like that, you know?
Respect.
That's respect. That's the
Respect
bottom
is
line.
huge, right?
Yes, bottom line.
Okay, so, you know, I just want to ask both of you, just really quickly, how long have you been part of the Martial Arts Academy? When did you start? When did you start participating? Become students of Master Jones?
Mr. Ewingboy, you can go first.
That was in my notes.
You're the lowest ranking belt right now.
I have. I've been around the dojo for 14 or 15 years. I started when my oldest daughter was 4. We started her in classes, but I was not in classes yet. But what I found was, in order to make sure that she was able to practice and do things well at home, I needed to learn the stuff too, so that I could help her out and practice at home. But then also just the environment at the dojo, just the community feeling of really everybody was in there to help develop young people of all ages, from 4 to 24. It was just young people in there, all working really hard, really focused on developing themselves and getting themselves better, and just a whole group of people around them helping them to do that. And so luckily for me, Master Jones allowed me to help out in some small way, especially with some of the younger kids, because I had a little bit of background from when I was a kid. And then after my older two girls joined class, I told Master Jones, well, look, if I'm going to be here all this time anyway, I might as well join class. And so then I started taking classes officially.
And that's your story. You're sticking to it,
Yep.
right?
And it's been a great experience.
Well, I started taking martial arts from Master Jones when I was 10 years old. It's been 22 years I've been with her. Yeah, 22 years.
That's beautiful, really.
I've been with her. She's seen me grow up from being a youth to a teenager to a young adult to a father now. Yeah, she's seen my highs, she's seen my lows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Master Jones,
I
you're...
want to point out that some of the other black belts, they argue about who is the youngest black belt. But so far, I was the oldest to get my black belt. And nobody has been older than me.
All right, well, that's good. That's a good thing. All right, well, Master Jones, we want to know a little bit about you. You were born in Washington, D.C. Tell us a little bit about, just your early years in Washington, D.C., where you were born, where you were raised.
Okay. Well, yes, like I said, my parents had an apartment on 18th Street, Northwest, and it was right around the corner from U Street. And at that time on U Street, it was known as the Black Broadway, that U Street was. And they had all sorts of entertainment. They had 3 theaters. It was the Lincoln, Booker T, and the Republic. They had Ben's Chili Bowl, and they had all sorts of Chinese restaurants and everything there. My parents used to take us out like on Saturday evenings to dinner. And the Howard Theater, you would go in at the Howard Theater, pay one price, and could see 3 shows on the same day. Same show over and over. Oh, I don't remember that. But I remember I saw James Brown, Smokey Robinson, and the Temptations. And I remember my parents talking about, and you could actually almost reach them, I did end up backstage trying to find Smokey, but I got put out to the But my parents talked about meeting Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and I think my father even mentioned Duke Ellington, because they used to always come there, And it was a great life, like I said, it was blacks, but we all got along great there. And then when I was about 11, my parents bought a home up in the Petworth area. And I remember they put us in a truck, my sister and I, with the 2 dogs, and we just went on out the neighborhoods. I hated my parents for doing that, And the only exciting thing about the Petworth area is that we had stairs in the house. Where in an apartment, you didn't have steps. So I used to like to run up and down the steps. My mother said I would go up there 20 times a day, just up and down the steps. It was during the summer, I remember that, and I had a bike, and I used to ride the bike back down to 18th Street every day until my mother said, no more, you have to stop. And then I started going to McFarland Junior High, meeting people, and I graduated from Roosevelt. Also in the area, they had the first black Catholic school off of U Street. And my sister and I attended that along with 7 other family members, So that was great. And then, like I said, we moved up in the Petworth area, and that's where I've been all my life so far.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that background. A little history, a little Temptations, a little Smokey Robinson. I'm thinking all those people in concert.
Yes.
I'd have loved to have been there myself.
Yes, and you just sit there and they would come back on.
The ticket price for that would be
Right.
astronomical now.
Right.
So, thinking of, your upbringing and what led you to the martial arts, what led you to start engaging in martial arts? How did you begin that process? What attracted you to it?
Well, I worked at Amtrak at corporate headquarters, I've been at Amtrak now for 39 years. I just retired last year.
Oh, congratulations.
And I think about 7 years after I had been working there, they started self-defense class. And the instructor was Grandmaster William Phillips, but he just came in to teach self-defense. And I guess maybe about 6 months after that, I had a karate uniform on, and I was competing. Okay, and I was winning first, second place trophies, and we started traveling all up and down the East Coast, and and that's how I really got into the karate. I loved it.
But how old were you at that time?
I was in my 20s. Yeah, in my 20s, and I became a third-degree black belt, and we were doing a demo, and this pastor was there. Stephen Tillett. His son was in the same class I was in, so it was a big demo. And at the demo, I did a form, and I broke a cinder block. Yes, gentlemen, cinder block. I broke a cinder block. So the pastor was sort of impressed, Here's this
I'm
woman.
impressed.
Yeah, so breaking these cinder blocks. So he approached my instructor, well, we called him Sensei at the time, and asked him, he said, I'm opening 2 church locations, one in Northwest and one in Southeast, and I would like Miss Jones to open up my school, help me start the schools and the churches. And my instructor approached me, and I told him no. I said no. I said, I know nothing about actually, teaching. I'm a female. You're talking about karate. I said no. He said yes. so I started over at the Petworth, and then I started at the school off of G Street in Southeast, and that's how my karate history started.
Wow.
And,
so you were doing a school in your 20s.
Yeah, I was in my 20s.
That's pretty amazing, really.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in my 20s, and it was awesome. I took to the students. And they took to me. It was just like family.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. I want you to just share, if you would, just a little bit about some of those first students and maybe any experiences you had with some of those first students. I know Angela was telling me about a couple twins that you worked with early on.
Yes. Thank you, Angela. Well, let's see. That was my Southeast school. Mr. Duff started with me in my Northwest school.
Okay.
So he was there from the very start, and he knew about the Southeast school also. Southeast was a little different than Northwest. The area that I opened up my school, it was called Simple City at one time. I didn't find out why it was called Simple City till I actually started teaching there. They had bullet holes in the church when I first went over there. They had a sofa in front of the church where these guys were out there selling drugs, and for some reason the church had already had these kids stationary when I walked in there, and they were so excited that they had this karate class or this. They didn't think of me as far as being a female and everything. I guess they didn't know much about Bruce Lee, right? So we went in there and we started the classes, and kids started coming, and we were working out, and they were getting their uniforms, and it was a group of kids that lived in the Simple City area, and it was a set of twins. It was 2 sets of twins, 3 boys and a girl, and the boys wanted to take karate. Well, the church had already approached me, was saying, well, can you do a little something for them or whatever? They really can't afford anything. So I went out and I bought the uniforms. I found out later on they were coming to class every day. Every day they were there. They were out there waiting when I pulled up. I found out I had to take the uniforms home and wash them. I don't want to get emotional. I had to wash the uniforms. I remember that we had a DACA picnic, and we invited both schools, and they showed up, and they were piling up their plates of food. They had hamburger, they had the popsicles, they had everything on this one plate. And one of the parents had pointed out to me, said, Master Jones, those kids are not eating, So I had a better understanding, And I remember them coming into class one day and saying, Master Jones, they're giving away free candy. Can we just miss a little bit of class and go? You know, any other time I would have. No, you
Right,
know.
right.
But because I understood, I said, yeah, go get the free candy. So I found out that these kids have never been out the neighborhood. And the other kids used to always talk about the movies that they had seen or whatever. And I noticed these kids were like really into it. So I offered to take them to the movie. And I never forget when I went to pick them up, they had on these new T-shirts. The T-shirt said Salem Light cigarettes. You know, in the old days, you buy cigarettes, you get a T-shirt.
Right.
And they had all three of them had these Salem Light T-shirts and these brand new dollar flip-flops. They were going to the movie. Are you crying, sir? Don't cry. Help me to get that. Yeah, they were going to the movie. So, you know, I don't even think I watched the movie. I just was so overjoyed in watching them,
Right, being
you know,
there,
and they were sitting up there with their mouths wide open and just into it, you know. And I will never forget that. I will never forget that. And I went to class one day, and they weren't there. And usually I let maybe about 2 or 3 classes go by before I start questioning where are my kids, you know, what happened to them. So I asked the janitor, he would clean up, and he knew a little bit about the family. And he had told me that they were put into shelter because their mother had gotten stabbed 7 or 8 times. And I was questioning about where are they, you know, I want to see them or whatever. And Marion Barry was the councilman over in that area. And I was able to get into his office, get in touch in his office, and someone was helping me. And she says, oh yeah, I can't tell you where they are, but they're okay, you know. And she was telling me, she said, you're the karate teacher, right? And I said, yes. And she said that the night that they were out there with the ambulance and everything, and she said those poor kids had blood all on them. And she said that one of them had asked, could I go back in and get my karate uniform? You know. So that's a moment that I will never forget. Never forget, you know. And still today, you know, I wonder how are they or what they're doing, and you know, are they okay? You know. But I did find out that their mother did come out of it all right. I don't know if she ever got her kids back, you know. But those things I remember. And I also remember an incident where I was over at Petworth, and this gentleman walks in, and he had been drinking, and he wanted to fight me. Yeah, come on, okay? Yeah, you teach karate, I want to fight you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm talking my way out of, no, sir, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, oh, yeah, you're supposed to be bad. I want to fight you. Mr. Ewan, I turned around and I looked, and little Kenneth Duff and the other little karate boys had made a circle. And they had to be no more than about 7 or 8. You know, they had made the circle, and the guy looked around and said, all these little kids gonna jump on me, huh? I'm going home now. It's okay. But I'll never forget that. You know. I mean, they just knew. I guess we got to protect our karate teacher.
Beautiful.
You know. Yeah, things like that.
Those are powerful stories. I mean, when you're talking about these young men who wanted to go back in and get their T-shirts, that was on their mind at that time.
The karate uniform.
Something hit them very deeply, right?
Yes.
Some sense of belonging, some sense of being really a part of something.
Yes.
That's very powerful.
Yes. And I used to take them food all the time. I was a little nervous about going into the apartment buildings, you know, but I used to take them food, you know, whenever I could.
So what do you remember about those early days?
Man, wow. Going to waking up on Saturday mornings, early Saturday mornings. I still wake up early Saturday mornings because of martial arts class, because of Master Jones. Tuesday evenings, leaving school, rushing to get to class. Always wanted to be in class, participate. Like Master Jones said, it always was an activity after martial arts too. That's what made it fun and made us stick around so long. We never wanted to go home. I mean, most of us, we came from well-stable homes and everything, but we never wanted to leave Master Jones. We always wanted to stay with her and stay until we had to go, until she forced us to go home. But always competing, getting time to travel up and down the East Coast, going to Disney World.
Well, I was going to leave him. I was going to leave him right there in Florida.
One of our down moments in our long relation, one of our down moments. But yeah, always having good times with her and with the school. Being exposed to so many other things other than martial arts too, going on trips, museums, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wonderful experience. Yeah, wonderful.
Welcome. It's nice to have you. Yeah. Oh.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about the early days of, and how long have you been with Martial Arts Academy?
I've been with DACA 2 since 93.
90.
So 23 years now.
Okay. We were just talking about the early days. I don't know if you were standing there when Master Jones was talking about the experiences with the early days. What do you recall about those early days?
Well, I mean, I was there with Kenneth for a lot of those early days. So like you said, on weekends, we was always with her after class. We never could just go straight home. What is
it that kept you there?
What's kept me there?
I mean, in terms of just not wanting to go home. You know, just this whole thing of wanting to stay.
It was like Kenneth said, it was a family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's our mother. That she's our non-biological mother. Mm-hmm. It's the longest relationship I've ever had with a woman. It's the longest relationship I've ever had with a woman. You know, I don't think I could ever get rid of her. You know, I think that's what just kept me around. I mean, we've had our arguments, and you know,
That's about being late.
yeah, like right now. I mean, I was at work, so I apologize for being late. I tried to get out a little early, but it was my day to close.
Let's see, if he didn't have a job, he would do push-ups for me, you know.
Okay.
But I understand the job.
Yeah, so trust me, I was telling them, I said, I gotta go. They're like, well, if it's a date, you just go ahead and tell her to wait. I said, it's not really a date. I said, if it was a date, I would tell her I'm gonna be late because of work. I said, but y'all just don't understand how this, what's about to go down. So I mean, I was able to get out of there. I was able to get here, which is most important.
That's great.
So sorry I'm running a little late, but
no problem.
I'm here.
It's all good. Welcome. Glad you're here. I want to. You talked earlier. You said something about, when you as a woman, somebody doing martial arts. What kind of challenges has that created? Has that created any challenges? I mean, have people, particularly back in the early days, were there that many women involved in the martial arts?
Nope.
So,
no.
Talk about that a little bit.
At first, it was very hard.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't being accepted. A female, you don't know half of the things that we know.
Right.
And I didn't get that much respect. There was no one there to help me.
Mm-hmm.
People said they were going to help me, but when I looked around, there was no one to help me. And I really believe, I know that it was my students, and I know that the man upstairs, he was guiding me to do this.
Right.
This is your mission.
Mm-hmm.
And
You felt
you're going to
that.
have to. I did.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah.
Who else, And I really think because my heart and soul was into it, this is why my kids turned out to be great. I hate to say it, but they were great martial artists. I remember when I first went out to my first karate tournament, and I took Mr. Duff and a couple other of my beginners, and they did so well that I was accused of taking high belts and sticking them into that division. And I'm like, no, they're beginners. But like I said, I had to prove something, and I guess I installed that into them. You have to do this. And then after a while, they started going out beating those male students. Their students, and they got out there on the circuit, and they were becoming grand champions, and trophies here and trophies there, and that's how it helped me out a lot. But like I said, at first it was rough. It was.
And you said your students turned out. A lot of them turned out pretty good. How many black belts have you come out of your school?
Boy counted up.
42 men.
See, but I don't even like to hear that because that's years and how long and my age and this and that. So yes, I've made 42, but I've had maybe about 4 other black belts that have come from other school adults that are male and wanted to come to me, and they were promoted to like their seconds or their thirds, you know. But yes, 42.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
42.
42 black
So
belts.
how does that, I don't know in terms of how does that rank in terms of how long you've been doing it? Is that good? Is that,
Well, we don't give away black belts.
I know.
Okay, we don't give away black
Yeah.
belts. They started out. It takes about 5 years.
Whew.
Yes, they go by fast. You know, they started out as beginners, intermediates, and advanced. It's just like high school. You work to get a diploma, where they work to get their black belts, and then after black belts, you go through degrees, and that consists of your training, or your teaching, or just into the arts, and that's how you get the degrees. That's how come I became a 7th. Because I was still working with the kids and
7th degree
taking
black
out
belt. How long did that
7th
take?
degree. 30-something years.
Lord,
30-something years.
That's
Yes,
beautiful.
I'm looking forward to getting my 8th very soon.
beautiful,
Yeah.
powerful. Reason I brought that up, and I was kind of trying to tease it out of you because what I understand, it's pretty impressive to have 42 black belts come out of your academy. I know you're not going to brag about it, but I was trying to tease it out of you a little bit about how impressive. That's very impressive from everything I've heard.
Thank you.
And just really, I'm wondering, just from any of your standpoints, when you think about the students that have been through the academy, what you've seen, the impact on them, and what's the impact the academies you've seen it have on yourselves, your own development, but also other students that you've seen go through it. I know Kareem, as he's mentioned, he's had 3 daughters go through it, but anybody can respond to that question.
Well, definitely for me, it has helped me out. I'm in the educational field, so my first job was being an instructor for Master Diane Jones. So those early years of me being an instructor and working with kids and teaching and leading class and also adults too, really helped me after I graduated from college, when I got into working with youth, kids, and teaching. It really, I had that foundation already because I had been doing it since junior high school. So it really has helped me out in the long run. Far as looking at other kids come through our school, I've seen it help a lot of kids stay off the street. Turn a lot of kids to focus, become better students in school, and help people just come better citizens in society.
So what is it about the martial arts and this particular academy that does that, that helps these students become better citizens, become more disciplined, stay off the streets? What is it specifically about martial arts and this academy?
Well, this academy, it's about the arts, yes, and it's very important to us. But the only thing I can say, we are a family, and like Kenneth and them say they never wanted to go home. Well, we did a lot of traveling. I mean, I took them skiing, horseback riding.
You said skiing.
Yeah, skiing. We went skiing.
What kind of skiing?
Down the slopes.
Like winter, like
Yes,
snow
like winter
skiing?
skiing.
Okay, all right. All right.
Horseback riding.
Yes.
Okay.
There's 2 things in
Go-kart.
life I don't do.
Yes. What else? Everything. We went to the zoo, like after class, and museums and things like that. We always did something together, and I think that sort of kind of worked. That's why these gentlemen are still sitting here with me. So I think I was part of their lives, correct?
Yeah, and just going back to, we always felt like family. A lot of us, Lawrence and I, we were from the community. A lot of the kids are from the community. We grew up with each other, so it's always felt like family. We've gone to school together, gone to college, if not college together, gone in the same area of the colleges that we went to. It's always felt like family, always felt like a home to us. I think that's definitely why we've stuck around for so long, because it can't leave your family. And you always had somebody her door has
If you try to leave
always.
your family, you can't.
What's that?
Even if you try to leave your family,
Right,
you
right,
can't,
right.
you know?
Um,
You may not talk for a while, but you'll be back.
Right, right. I mean, her door has always been open to us.
Right.
Even like students that have left had not even gotten their black belt.
Right.
She's always left that door open, and I think a lot of we know that door. We can always come back to Master Jones, even if it's just to talk to her, let her know how our life is going, and she's always had that door open for us.
Beautiful.
Well, I always ask. I always want to see them working.
Right.
You know, they're young men. They need jobs.
Right.
And even today, I still have a couple of them that need jobs. So I'm always after, Kareem, can you look out? Duff, can you look out for someone? I asked Lance, can you get them in the bank? Can you do something for them? And Mr. Kareem got a young man a job, and he's supposed to be starting, in a couple weeks, right?
Beautiful.
So I'm always looking out for them. They call me if they want a reference to everything, you know.
That's
And
beautiful.
It
really.
is.
It's very powerful.
Lawrence has he's kind of quiet, but he has really a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
I just lost my father a couple months ago, and Mr. Pickney lives right around the corner. And sometimes I come home and he's sitting on the porch talking to my 90-year-old father, just in conversation. And him being a young man,
Right.
you know, that's not usual, you
Right.
know. And every time I would see him, how's your father? How's your father? You know. And my father passed. My black belts were right there.
Beautiful.
You know. So that's family.
That is family.
Yeah, that's
that is
family.
Did you either one of you want to share anything about the impact of the school in terms of how you've seen it help develop young people?
One of the things that I always talk about is, whenever I'm telling people about the school is like we've said a couple times, Master Jones is one of the highest ranked women in the Mid-Atlantic.
Right.
Right. She is the head not only of a well-known school. She's the head of a very highly respected school. We roll into a competition and people know that we're there, and that's just something that these guys have grown up with, and my children have grown up with, and so there's just this whole generation of people who have a very real physical example of a strong woman who demands and deserves respect.
Right.
A woman who leads and leads well, and so there's this idea of women in leadership. That there's this whole generation of young men and young women that they grew up with, that this is normal for.
Right.
And that's just not something that unfortunately it's not something that a lot of people have.
Right.
And so just that idea right there, and the kinds of effects that has on the trajectory of young men and young women's lives as they go forward into the
Right.
world, knowing that, you know, women are strong leaders who will love you and
Right.
will demand the
Right.
best from you.
Right.
And I mean, we all three of us have made some kind of joke about it already this afternoon. We mess around. We know that Master Jones would make us do push-ups,
Right.
And we
Yeah,
all
right.
know that all three of us would do them,
Right.
if she said to do them.
Right.
You know, and that's just a really a wonderful thing for me as a man in this world, and as a father of three daughters in this world.
So my take on it, I'll come, since everyone's talked about the impact on everyone, I'll talk about the impact on myself. It's in terms of confidence, people just think I'm cocky.
That would be true.
But I think cockiness comes from someone that's still not humble enough to listen, and I think everyone knows I still will listen. I still
Right.
come out seeking advice. But in terms of confidence, it's made me so confident in myself, and just and knowing that I can do anything if I actually put my mind to it. I mean, the test that we had to come through in terms of going up through the ranks, and then just the individual tests in terms of testing yourself and your abilities and making sure that you can do this, or you want to try this, and just not being afraid. Those are things that you learn.
Right.
And most of those that have finished, you can see their confidence just change.
Right.
You can see them grow from someone that doesn't talk to someone now that actually talks or even if they still don't talk, they're still confident within themselves to still hold a conversation when they're asked to actually speak, or
Right.
when they have to speak. And, you know, that's just really big. I mean, I take it, like I said, on a personal level. My job that I have now, I actually didn't get it because of my degree or because of what I knew. When the district manager was giving me the interview, when she saw martial arts on my resume, we talked about that. And that's what got me the job.
Is that right?
She thought that was just so cool, and that because I did it for so long,
Right.
and then she could see the confidence in me within myself. And then
That's
so,
powerful.
and then, like I said, I'm gonna see. I'm now what the second highest rank in our organization.
Is that right?
So I have black belts under me that are truly under me, because by the time they started, I had already been a black belt for 10 years. So in terms of managing, you know, you have to manage those black belts. So
Right.
when I take it to work and I have to talk to other people about, I have to manage them here in that rank, and I'm not actually a manager, but I still supposed to do certain coaching and things like that.
Sure.
That goes back to my martial arts training, because I've always had to help someone here, coach someone in that aspect. Hey,
Right.
Lawrence, go over there and show them. I may not want to do it. They don't
Right.
want to show nobody anything. But
Right.
you gotta go show them, because if you didn't go show them, you got in trouble. Because if they didn't do it right, you got in trouble because you was supposed to show them. Same thing happened in my work. So it's just everything I do basically goes back to martial arts.
That's quite a testament. That's quite a. That's
I would
quite
like
a
to say
testament.
also Lawrence's brother is one of my black belts.
Okay.
That's his younger brother.
Okay.
He lives in North Carolina now, but he started out. And I also want to say that Lawrence holds a title for 2 years straight as a grand champion sparring in the black belt division. So
Beautiful.
he's getting ready to go up again, right? We hope for that third title.
Actually, this is actually only the first year. The last time I lost it for
Oh,
grand
I
champion.
apologize.
I lost it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
but
in
you
the
won
grand
first
champion
place.
fight.
I'm sorry.
I was in the grand champion fight and I lost because I was tired.
See, you
Dead
should
tired.
have been quiet about
Dead
that.
tired. Dead
you know?
tired. No, I mean, we're gonna tell the truth. I
That's
wasn't
all
lying
right.
about it. Hey, I won
Yeah,
plenty
on
of
the
fights.
radio.
I won plenty of fights.
Okay.
I mean, when you
That's
do
part of
something-
it too.
When you do something for 23 years, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna go perfect throughout your life.
Right,
You know,
right.
unless you have fixed matches or something like that. But that's not what we do. Anyway, so I lost the first year, and then the second year I actually won it. And so now it's time to go defend the title. And so I've been working very diligently to get back in fighting shape.
You know, he didn't talk much when he was younger.
Yeah, well, he's talking now, so that's good.
Now I think I talk
He
more.
was very no. He was very shy. He was the smallest one in the group, and sometimes the
shy.
older ones will pick on him.
Right.
And I
That
used to
happened
talk to.
to
I'm talking to her, him.
Okay, Steve.
You know, so now he's talking to him. That's very good.
That's
Proud
good.
of him. Yes.
But that's all part of it. That's all part of confidence. That's all part of discipline. That's all. I always think, people when they, young kids, when they see martial arts, they see it on TV, and they get this impression they're just going to go around kicking everybody's butt, and that's what it's about. I'm going to learn how to do this, and I'm wondering how many people kind of come to the school, young kids come to the school thinking, thinking the Bruce Lee stuff or thinking the Jet Li stuff or this is what I'm going to do, and then they realize really what it is,
Exactly.
right? Really what it's going to take. It's not. It's really not about that.
No.
Right.
It's a discipline.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that could happen to them when you threaten to take their belts,
Ooh.
they just fall apart, because they've earned this rank or they earned this color belt,
Right.
and the parents would say, I want to talk to Master Jones, and sometimes they would call me at home in the evening and I would have to talk, and I said, if you don't straighten up, you're going to lose your belt. And that's how I control them. for
That's
some
it.
reason.
Yeah. With that being, I used to fear bringing my report card
man.
to Master
I have
Jones
a
more
story
than
for
I
that
did
one.
my mother.
I have a story for that one.
Yeah, bringing report cards to Master Jones was, I don't know for everybody else, but I know
Let me know
for
when
me,
it's my
I
turn.
feared that more than having my mother see it. So she definitely leaves an
So it's-
impression on you.
All right, hold on. All right, let me take the report card
Oh, I
one more
need
time.
to too.
So, like Duff said, in terms of the report card thing. So, I think my first bad grade I really had, back when they had U's. So I had to write U 500 times. Do you know how many U's that are across
I
the
do.
line?
I do.
Across
Because my
the
dad
line.
used to make me do that.
Across the line. Hold on. So I got to go down this, and then I got to do 500 more of those.
Oh.
So then on top of that, I also had to write, I will not lie to Master Jones another 100 times. because I think she asked me about it. Of course, as a kid, you try not to, let her know. I seen how other people got in trouble for their bad grades. Now I done finally got one. I'm not trying to, so I got in trouble for that too. Then I remember, once we got a little older, the analogy she did where the A students would get in this pile, the B's, C's, things like that. And then she would start telling you about the type of jobs you would get if you was an A. So the F students, she had some jobs that you probably didn't think you would really like.
Right.
I'm not going to say those things because, to be honest with you, now that you're an adult, you understand that if you actually can run a successful business, those F jobs can be pretty successful jobs.
Right.
You probably, if you were an F student, you probably didn't work at the job or do the job successfully.
Right.
And that's what I think I really learned from school. But it was just, putting us in those categories, and it was like, I don't want to be down there with those F's, Yeah, but that report card thing, that was no joke. You can. She'd be like, you come to class, report cards supposed to come up. Where the report cards? Right, but like, I didn't get mine yet. Well, they got this. Don't you go to school with that person? But I didn't get mine yet.
Right.
Yeah, you had to write for that too. Lying, man.
And I believe in the writing.
Okay.
I do. It really works.
Practice.
Ask your Mr. Young Boy sitting over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, sir. Last week before last.
While we're getting to the Mr. Ewing Boyd, we have at least one of the young women here who have been in your class, and I think it would be good if Sati Ewing Boyd is sitting over here. She's a black belt, and we've talked about the impact on girls and women as well. And Sati, I don't know if you want to just make a comment or two about I think it's very important that our guests see that young girls are a part of this and what it's done for you. But you've got to come over here in front of the camera. And so this is Sati Ewing Boyd.
Hi. Which way you want me to face? Right here?
You're good.
Okay. Okay, so I think the biggest impact it had on me was, growing up as a girl. You hear a lot about not being strong, or if you're angry, then they blame it on it's that time of the month. You don't have a lot of confidence placed in you as somebody that is strong and able to articulate everything that you need to say. So I think that being in karate really helps me understand that I am powerful and I can do things if I need to do something, but that doesn't mean I have to. So, and it also taught me to be a leader and to teach people and to help people and to be kind, because I know I used to be kind of mean when I was teaching people. But then, like, recently, over the last couple of years, I kind of been learning, to be a little bit more gentle with people and a little bit more forgiving, and to nurture people before I yell at them. It doesn't mean I don't yell at them. I learned that from Master Jones. Sometimes you need to yell at them.
Sometimes you gotta.
But I also learned to give them hugs and make them feel better and all that. So yeah, that's the effect it had on me.
Well, there's so I don't want to get into this whole discussion about the vulnerability of girls and women in our society and how they're taken advantage of. I mean, I'm sure there's a level of confidence you have now in terms of just being able to go places and be places and not maybe carry the same kind of fear that some girls and women have to carry when they're just walking in the streets. So there's many things that this does, but I'm so glad that I'm talking family business here, but that Kareem and Angela decided that all three of their daughters would be black belts. There's a couple.
Can I say one more thing? This
Sure,
one right
please.
here, she's a bully, actually.
What's that?
She's a bully. She's a bully. I want to let everyone know that. She beats up on us in class all the time. And then when we say, all right, we're going to defend ourselves because you're trying to bully us, then she tries to tell us that she's a little girl. We're like, listen here. You can't just be walking up on us, hitting us like that, because those things actually start to hurt after a while. Because you've been working at your art for so long. So anyone you see her in the street, she is a bully.
Okay, so we got that covered.
I wouldn't say she is a bully. She doesn't take too much crap.
No,
and I must say, I don't think any of the males in my school look at the ladies as the weaker sex or anything like that. I think they give
That's
us
important.
just as well, give them just as much respect, as they would do their male partner or whatever. There are two things that is a rule in my school. One is never to say I can't, and the other is I better not hear these guys saying you let a girl beat you.
Powerful.
Those are our rules. So.
But there's so many messages and all that. I mean, it's a powerful message about respect for women, equality of women and men. And it's easy to say that, but to be in a situation where you have to demonstrate that, that can carry into a relationship, into a healthy relationship, outside of the school, because they've learned to respect women. And I want to just mention this. Kareem's trying to help me pronounce this, but the school that the academy that you run, you chose. Let me just see if I can do this, Kareem. Tang Sudo. Did I do it? Tang Sudo, right? And that, and then Kareem corrected me yesterday. He said it's Tang Sudo Mudaquan.
Right.
Okay, that's the best I can do. I'm only gonna try that once. But you chose that direction to go in with martial arts.
Well, I chose the instructor
Okay,
that was teaching that.
I see.
Okay, and he was teaching the Mudaquan,
Okay,
which is a style, consists of punching and kicking. Each karate has a different kind of style.
Right.
And then he started to go to another style, which was the Tang Sudo, which there are little different forms and techniques or whatever. Then we just combined the two together.
Okay.
But that's why I chose that.
Okay.
Correct,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
That's
These are kind
Sounds
of
about right. I mean, by the time I came, it was already Tanks to the Mudaquan, so I don't know.
okay. So that's what it was.
Yeah, by the time I came.
Well, before I actually started teaching, the name had changed.
Like I
Because
said,
when I
by
was
the
with him, it was Mudaquan, and the belt levels had changed also.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I want to ask you just because I want I'm hoping you'll be able to use this for many things, but it would be good for people to know the age range that you take in your academy. What is there an age limit? Is there an age range? Younger or older? How does that work?
Well, we usually start at the age of 4.
Okay.
Some have started at 3 if they can talk.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
If they're able to tell me their names and can say Master Jones by the end of the day, then we'll work with them.
Okay.
So usually, yeah,
And they call
4
me
years
Cocky.
old. 4, and the adults, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long as you can holler, "Aye," you're okay.
And if somebody wanted to become part of the school, part of the academy, who would they contact? How would they know? Is there a phone number? Is there?
Yes, I can give my number. Master Diane Jones. My phone number is 202-210-9195. Don't call too late at night, okay? Thank you.
And say it one more time because
Okay.
I'm hoping that people will call.
All right, 202-210-9195.
And the school is located.
The school is located at St. Paul's Cemetery. We're in the cemetery.
Okay, so-
Okay, safest place that we can be,
So
okay?
in case
And,
something goes wrong,
it's,
you don't have to go far.
Exactly. No one will hurt us in there.
No one comes in there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just us.
And it's located off of Rock Creek Church and Webster Street is St. Paul.
Okay.
And I also would like to throw in that Mr. Ewan Boyd has opened up his own karate school, and I'm very proud of him. And I just want him to know that I'm here for you. Anything I could ever do, to help you out,
Thank you, man.
I'm there.
Well, I know today is August 15th, middle of August, and it's a special day for somebody in this room. We could look around the room and see who that might be. All eyes are on Master Jones, Master Diane Jones. I understand it's your birthday, Master. Are we correct about that?
Yes.
And I don't, they always say don't ask women how old they are. I know how old you are, but I won't say
Okay.
unless you want to say. But we
Do
wanted
you
to.
know? Do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know?
You've been 20 all my life, man.
I'm 65 today.
You're 65 today.
No.
Yes, 65.
Well, we wanted to at least sing you a song. The girls want to come in and sing a song. Are they coming in?
You know about the line?
No, I don't know the line.
Nah, she don't go down the birthday line.
And run down the line and beat you with their belts.
While we're waiting for your birthday song, is there any last things you wanted to say about the school? Anything that just got left hanging that you just wanted to share?
I'll say I would not know where I would be if I didn't join Master Jones Martial Arts School. It's really been a part of my life these last 20 years, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Like I said, we've had our good times, we've had our bad times. Good times outweighed the bad times, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Beautiful. That's quite a testimonial, really. Quite a testimonial. Well, we've got one lit and one not lit, but it doesn't matter. I think
That looks nice.
we wanted to, all of us, offer this to you. It's not just for your birthday. It's not just for your 65th birthday, but really it's just appreciation to you,
Does that
Master
say
Jones.
55 or does that actually say 65?
It does say, let me put it right here.
They put 65 on the cake. Thank you. I'm glad they weren't 65 candles.
Is that right?
That
Are we
said
close?
65.
Are we close to the right age?
Yes. We're on the air.
No, but Master Jones, forgive us.
My idea of getting a husband.
Make them do the push-ups. They'll do the push-ups in class on Saturday.
I think you need to partake in them push-ups with us.
I'll do that from home, but meanwhile,
No. You have to be with us. We do it together.
we'll do it together.
Uh-huh.
We'll do it together. But meanwhile,
We are brothers and
happy
sisters together.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Master Jones. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. When you say how old are you?
Well,
Make a wish.
Now you gotta go through the birthday.
Candle went out. So
no, blow it out.
Blow it out. There you go. Yay!
I'll be here 65 more years after this. That's what I wish for. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Master Jones,
Oh, chocolate. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Kareem, Kenneth, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is beautiful. This will be on YouTube. You'll have it to use as you will. And really, this is the DACA 2 Martial Arts Academy is a story. And it's a longer story than we're able to tell today, but at least we're able to share some of it. And I just feel honored and privileged to have you here and to be a part of this, Master Jones. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's our show for the day. Thank you, Reggie. Over and out. Remember, transform yourselves, transform your communities, and we're going to eat some cake.